doing this afternoon? Good, a little tired, ready to go home? Yes. That's all right. Let's jump right into this. So, how many of you are aware of the sexual assault reporting or anything like that that HR has in place right now? Are any of you aware of any of those policies or how they handle anything? Pretty much no. Well, that is why we're here today. So, today we are going to give you an overview. Our job is to inform you on our history and our mission. Our ultimate goal is to advise you why you need our company, what Erase Rape LLC can bring to you guys, what values do we bring to the table, and why should you hire us? So with that being said, before we can establish any credibility, we need to introduce you to you guys and tell you why we can speak on this topic, why we're here, and why we're picking such a sensitive subject to speak on today. My name is Amber Freeman. I'm the president of this company. I have been here for 12 years. My entire experience is within this company. I helped build it from the ground up. With that, my job is to ensure that our mission is instilled in every single product that we deliver. Along with that, once we deliver a project, we don't want to just leave it at that. We want to work with you throughout the process, even after you've implemented it, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line, so that after we give you that product, it's delivering well on past the fact. We want to ensure that communication has increased, that you have seen a change, not just give you a product and leave you to it. With that being said, I also have a doctorate in business management from the University of Georgia, so I'm well knowledge in this subject and am very able to lead our team.
So, my name's Molly Weaver. I'm the director of the internal communications. I've worked with all levels within this organization, and I've developed internal strategies for these companies. I've also consulted with various departments to understand their needs. So I'm making sure that the department has like good strategies to communicate internally. To sum it up. The next is Scoop.
My name is Scoop. I'm the CPO for this company, meaning Chief People Officer. I'm certified in the PHR, meaning I'm a professional in human resources, so I'm very well versed on dealing with human resources at universities, and I actually help create the policies that we actually recommend to be implemented at these universities. I've been doing this for about 10 years, so I'm well versed in the industry.
Okay, and I'm Taylor Caldwell. I'm the Director of External Communications. My job is to manage the external communications output, implement social media strategies, and to edit and revise content as necessary.
My name is Amber King. I'm the vice president. I've been working with Erase Rape for 10 years. My job is to oversee internal operations and help build strong customer relations with our
And lastly, I'm Cedric Bowers. I'm the business director. I've been working here for just 2 years, so I'm roughly new. I've established effective goals, increased revenue. I also work with department heads to outline procedures that will meet growth. So that's just to get a rough estimate on growth over time and track statistics of incidents across different campuses all across the country. And I also establish company policies for the most part.
So our intentions are to provide better resources for the students, the faculty members, and the staff here at UWG to ensure safety, equality, and trust for each and every person. So now we're going to turn it back over to Cedric, our business director, to tell you about our company background.
Just to give you guys a rough estimate, 11.2% of all students between the ages of 18 and 20 and undergrad have either been raped or some type of sexually assaulted. Another 4.2% of students have also been stopped or some type of harassment. Where it all began, we're a Christian-based organization out of San Francisco, California. We believe all forms of rape, ideas of rape, are not only bad, but just flat out malicious. Our goal is to not only erase rape across campuses and universities, the JUCOs, etc., but we want to erase rape across across America as a whole. We stand for equality, men and women. So for those of you that don't know what we're about, just to give you guys an idea. Throughout the last several years, we traveled across a plethora of universities and started a No Means No campaign across 50 universities, which so happened to be partnered with End Rape on all campuses. And lastly, we traveled across 127 universities as a whole. And with that being said, I'll pass over the statement of need to my colleague, Amber Freeman.
Thank you, Cedric. As mentioned earlier, guys, my name is Amber Freeman. I'm the president of this company. I will be going over the statement of need with you guys today. Did you know that about 5% of male undergraduate students and 23% of female undergraduate students experience some sort of sexual assault, stalking, or something along those lines in their undergraduate years alone? That's 2 years. Additionally to that, 70% of sexual assaults go unreported. So that statistic right there is greatly skewed due to the fact that we have 70% that are going unreported. Only 30% is going into that statistic. Because of that, you may ask, well, what can you do to help us reduce that statistic? There are great resources out there, and technology is of the essence, now more than ever. One of the things that technology can offer us is an anonymous platform where people can come and communicate that. Whenever you have something traumatic happen like that to you, or you see something going on, a lot of the times it puts you in a very awkward position. You don't really know who to go to. As mentioned earlier, you're not really sure of where to go to. How do I communicate this? How do I report it? How do I make a change? Because of that, it's very important that we change the dynamic of how you report that. Currently, the HR department, Human Resources at West Georgia, has a report a concern online, which is a great resource to have. The only revision we think that there needs to be is that currently you have to have all these required fields. When you're going through something traumatic like that, you're speaking out of emotion, and having to filter it down to what you have to follow that report drastically changes the message you're trying to get across. Sometimes the raw, honest truth is what you need to get to the bottom of what's actually going on, how bad it affected you, and what can we do to change this. So because of that, we offer an anonymous hotline and an anonymous email. The good thing about that is it's managed internally from us, so essentially when you hire us, it's no additional cost to you. It's already included into what you already have paid for. The great thing about this is that you will never actually know the person's identity of who is actually reporting this need. You're only going to know the facts of what happened and what's actually going on. We're going to give you the gruesome, raw truth of it instead of giving you a filtered version of what you may get from that reported concern online. Now, what's this going to do, essentially? If someone feels that they can come to you and speak freely and not have to feel they have to cut down what they feel or what they want to tell you, that's going to increase awareness. It's also going to make them feel more comfortable. It's really important, especially now more than ever, to make your audience feel comfortable. If they're not comfortable, they're not going to speak with you. They're not going to want to open up to you, especially on a subject like this. Because of that, it's going to end up helping breaking the silence. It's going to decrease that statistic overall of the 70%. If we make it more comfortable for people to report, eventually they're going to start doing it, especially if you have one or two that end up reporting it, they see change happening, they're going to tell their friends or anyone else that they may know. And not only that, it's not just available to students, it's available to peers, parents of students, anyone who comes on campus. If you see anything that happens, you can use these platforms. Another great thing that this is going to bring is that because it's anonymous, you don't have the possibility of being one-sided. You don't know who they are, you don't know their ethnicity, what gender they are, or what they identify as. You just know that they're a person coming to you with a concern with a report. Because of that, that's going to increase equality all the way around, making it a better process overall. With that being said, I'll now hand you over to my colleague, Molly Weaver, to discuss internal communication.
Hello, thank you, Amber. My name's Molly. Like I said, I'm the director of the internal communications here at the Race Rate. So what do y'all think mainly runs the department smoothly? Just communication in general. So yeah, just communication. So my main focus is like your internal communications. So what I've gathered from that is that most of your communication internally is done through the email. So who here like checks their email regularly? Okay, actually a lot of y'all do. But most people don't check it regularly, and it's also, do you find it hard to reply to people when you're in like a huge thread with a lot of people, like who you still haven't replied to, you know what I mean? So it's very hard to communicate like fast, and it's hard to reply to people. So another form is y'all meet in person. So this is like the most effective way to meet internally, because it helps you build connections with your colleagues, and it also is more productive and, it's more productive, and you can just get information out clearly, and there's no misunderstandings between it, because you're right there, you're able to speak. You'll also have phone call meetings, so this is a form of communication, and it's more effective than email, but not as effective as meeting in person. So when you're on a phone call, you're not able to see somebody's body language. You're not able to see if they're like agreeing with it. You're only able to hear their tone of voice. So it's not as effective as meeting in person. So this graph here shows how the University of West Georgia compares to other colleges internally. So we mainly use email, and then the University of Georgia uses email as well as KSU. But from the graph, it shows that UGA, they communicate internally through email meetings and phone calls. So they're able to communicate effectively to their department. And then KSU, they're not communicating at all through meetings or phone calls, so they're not as effective as us. So we're just here to make sure that your department is able to communicate internally, and we're trying to raise the meetings and phone calls as well. And then not only is the internal communications as important as, external communication is too. So here to present is Taylor.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Taylor. And again, I'm the Director of External Communications here at Race Rate LLC. So, sometimes you have to think about the process of making a department successful. It takes a lot to make that department successful. And one of those aspects of making the department successful is external communication. So at Erase Rate LLC, we're trying to implement social media platforms into the HR department. As you all know, a lot of departments here have social media, like Twitters, Instagrams, and so here's just a SWOT chart to see exactly what you have here. So strengths, you do communicate through email, like Molly said, emails, phone calls, face-to-face meetings, and you do offer training to incoming freshmen, the EverFi training, which is to incoming freshmen, fraternity and sorority members, and also employees on campus. So some strengths are those. The weaknesses that you do have is that the training is only for those people, so maybe you could do the training for everyone who attends annually, not just those specific people, as far as the freshmen and the fraternity and sorority and the employees. Also, when things do happen on campus, we don't get a lot of details being students who attend here. Like we know the bare minimum of what happens. And sometimes it's just word of mouth of other people saying like, oh, this happened, but we don't really know what happened. So some opportunities that we're bringing to the table is that you implement those social media pages such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. This way you can give information to the students firsthand, because everybody has a phone. Everybody has Twitter, Instagram, some type of form of social media. Also, you could have more events on campus. Human resources, they don't really have events. A lot of people don't even know where they're located. Do y'all know where the human resources department is located? Yeah, a lot of people don't even know where it's at, unless for some reason they have to go there. Also, we think that you should collaborate with the Student Health Center as far as providing free testing, any kind of testing, because now testing you have to pay. So maybe you could collaborate with them and implement free testing for those of people who may have had an incident, sexual incident or anything, because what the first thing you wanna do, the first thing you don't wanna do is have to go pay for a test when something has happened to you. But some threats of implementing these different types of communication is that with the hotline like Amber wrote about and the email, you may end up getting a lot of reports. Like a lot of reports may be coming in at one time and you don't know how to handle them in a timely manner. So then you also can get a lot of backlash from students as far as not handling their reports on time, because when people want things handled, they want it handled. And also anything that happens, your company is gonna be liable for it. As far as those unresolved reports, your company, your department is gonna be held accountable for this. So now I'm gonna pass it over to our Chief People Officer to talk about our recommendations.